Season 1 of Black Ops Cold War and Warzone is fully underway, and it already has people asking when we're going to be getting the next Warzone map. We got Rebirth Island with Season 1, but it's really not the full-scale type of map that a lot of people were expecting come with the launch of Black Ops Cold War and the integration of the Black Ops Cold War weapons, which is already bringing the main question of when will we be getting the next big Warzone map and what will it be? What is up, guys? MrMelch here, bringing another brand new video here today. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far. If you haven't already, please drop a like on the video, comment down below what you guys think, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Road to 1,000 subs is fully underway, and your support along the way would be greatly appreciated. So let's get straight into the meat of today's video. Now let's start at the beginning of when Warzone launched. Now the launch of Warzone happened in March of 2020, and that's right at the beginning of, when the COVID stuff hit, and it really was great timing for Activision and Infinity Ward and Raven, who put together Warzone, because it really had people a chance to really get into Warzone and really fully understand and play what it was. And obviously over the course of the summer and this past fall, we got some pretty significant updates, I guess, quote unquote significant updates for Verdansk, but there was no actual huge changes to the map. We had Stadium open up, we had the train station added, the subway system, the exterior terrain around the map, but there was no, main area changes. We look at Fortnite and how they changed out maps, from season to season and changed areas of the maps pretty significantly. We didn't have any huge changes like that with Verdansk. Now, I'm sure, obviously, there's probably a reason as to why they're not making huge changes to the map. They don't want to change the gameplay of it, or they're already working on new maps, so they don't want to put too much effort into the already existing maps while they're already working on new ones. But obviously, we got Rebirth Island with Season 1, and it was only a 45-player map and really didn't live up to the expectations of some people. I know myself, I loved it, but some people just weren't a fan of the, the smaller scale type of map and really liked the Warzone playstyle on Verdansk a lot better than this Rebirth Island type map. Now, when we take a step back, we look at Verdansk. The map is obviously made up of these smaller ground war and multiplayer maps, so we can probably already assume that that's going to be the case for the next large scale, Verdansk or Warzone map, and that's coming with Black Ops Cold War. Now, we look at the ground war maps that we had in Modern Warfare, and we essentially have the same type of thing for the fire team maps in Black Ops Cold War. So we can already assume that we're probably going to get the bare bones, or I shouldn't say the bare bones, the bones of the main new Warzone map will be coming from these fire team maps from Black Ops Cold War. And now, so far, we have 2 fire team maps in the game, with another one coming in Season 1 here. We have Alpine and Ruka. And now, on the Ruka map, in the intro sequence, it says that this takes place in the Ural Mountains, and it's pretty obvious given the terrain. If you have any, notion of what the Ural Mountains are, this is exactly what it looks like in Western Russia. And then we also have Alpine. Now, it's interestingly enough, in the intro sequence for Alpine, they do not show on the intro sequence that it takes place in the Ural Mountains. Now, obviously, I assume there's probably a reason for that, if they're trying to keep it more of a secret that all these fire team maps aren't taking place in the exact same area when they actually are, and so it's not super obvious that they are going to be making up the next Warzone map. But if you know anything about how these maps have worked in the past with Ground War and Warzone, it's very obvious that these are going to be making up the next Warzone map. So now let's look at what we have so far with this new map, Santorium. It's already very clear that this takes place in Russia as well, and the Soviet Union, which is also taking place in the Ural Mountains. So this is now 3 maps that make it pretty clear that these are going to make up what the eventually is the next Warzone map. Now, what it's going to be called, don't know. Obviously, things can change, but to solidify even more, there's already people out there who are trying to fit together these maps, and it's very clear that there's going to be a bunch of different terrains that make up this larger, new Warzone map. And we have Santorium, which is on the coast and has water. We have Alpine, which is in the snowy mountains, and then we have Ruka, which is a forest. So we know how they like to vary up the different, terrains across the map, and it's very fitting that these all would make sense and fit together perfectly. And I think it's almost a 100% lock on that's what's going to be happening with this next map. With the last thing that is kind of on the timeline as far as when is this going to happen, now, there's no specific answer and there's no concrete details on what exactly is going to be happening with the timeline of the next Warzone map. Season 1, is set to end in about mid-February, and the Warzone map initially, Verdansk, came out in March of 2020. So that puts us pretty close to when Warzone has been out for a full year. Now, you don't obviously, I don't at least personally expect Rebirth Island to last out a super long time. Obviously, it's a pretty small map and there's only so much you can do with it. So I would expect we get some new game modes and such over the course of the next couple weeks as we go through Season 1 for Rebirth Island. But then we can probably expect, I think it's pretty safe to say, that we either get this new, Black Ops Cold War Warzone map in February at the launch of Season 2, or about midway through Season 2, I would guess, which would put us in that, February to March window, which is when this same, Warzone came out 1 year ago. So, I think that's probably the best guess and, scenario on how this plays out over the next couple months. I don't think that anything significant is going to change with, a new map showing up randomly. I think it's very, very, very likely that this next map is going to be made up of these Black Ops Cold War Fireteam maps. So if you haven't already, be sure to drop into those Fireteam maps and get to know them, and you'll have a huge advantage as we go into this next Warzone map in 2021. But anyway, what do you guys think of this whole situation with Rebirth Island and not having a brand new map yet? Do you think it's going to be a while still before we get a new Warzone map? I hope it's not anytime, down the road too far, because a lot of people are going to get old and sick of this Rebirth Island and Verdansk real quick, especially with the scenarios with all these glitches and all the hackers out there. Let me know what you guys think down below. Also, another mix that could come into this, we're probably going to be getting a Modern Warfare 2 sequel to this Modern Warfare 2019 game for the next COD game. There's been nothing officially announced yet, and obviously Infinity Ward could be next in line. They have not been officially deemed the developer for the 2021 COD title, so we know there's been a lot of stuff out there about Sledgehammer hiring a bunch of people to work on some sort of game, you would think. I don't know if they're just splitting time between, the two different developers with Treyarch and Infinity Ward, but they could also be working on something that we're not aware of at this point. So we shall see. Still a lot of information to come out on all of this stuff, so be sure to tune in and subscribe for more of these videos in the future as we get more details on what's going to happen with Warzone in 2021. But otherwise, like I said before, if you guys could drop a like on the video if you haven't already, it'd be greatly appreciated. Comment down below what you guys think, and be sure to subscribe for more videos in the future. But otherwise, I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next one.